All right, welcome again to Military Guna TV. I am your host, Mario Dekers. It's been a while since I've done a elongated stream. Definitely, this stream will also have a guest, a special guest, Mr. Rudolph Speed. I know most of you guys would already know him based on the fact the affiliation to the JFF, due to the fact that he has affiliations with JFF and Cavaliers, because most of you that watch my videos on the JPL and knew that he's the technical director of Cavaliers. I'm going to bring him on to the show now. We have a few things we want to discuss in regards to the under 20 team. What is the ideology of the team? What we're going to do going forward? I have the track records right here. Or we can eliminate these track records, because the only thing I'm seeing on these track records is eliminated. Or we can eliminate these track records and let it look a lot more progressive in going forward. So before I bring him on, I would advise you guys, I would implore you guys to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button as we welcome Mr. Rudolph Speed. Good day to you, sir.
Good day, sir, military.
How are you doing? First of all, before we get into the thing, how are you doing?
I am good, and you?
I have life. I'm a Christian, so I have to give thanks on all the time. So we are here to discuss the Reggae Boys, specifically the under 20 team, and I do think that this is an important topic. One of the most important possible topic I will be touching on since I started doing Reggae Boy content. A lot of people would say that I'm just doing Reggae Boy content, which means that I'm just watching Reggae Boy, but I do believe that that's a false statement. I've been watching Reggae Boy for so long, and 90% of footballers in Jamaica watch the Reggae Boy team. Even when they're losing, they're still watching. I know. I play football under 13, under 14, under 15, under 16. I play all the colors. So people who are saying that I don't watch it, stop. You don't know what I'm saying. So Mr. Speed, we all know the technical role that you play in both Cavaliers and also the JFF. And I want to start off straight off the bat with the questions that I have at hand. The first question is, who is the coach of the under 20 team?
All right, the coach of the under 20 team is Marcel Gale of Waterhouse fame. We have named him the head coach, contracts in place, so he's the man right now.
All right. Now, from what you have seen, what would have made that appointment specifically for the under 20 team, and how do you guys see him performing with the under 20 team?
Well, if you just go back a little, and I don't know, maybe if you heard of our strategic plan or our technical plan, one of the main focus of our plan is to build capacity in Jamaica. So, I mean, we have tried to get overseas coaches to coach the various national teams all at a time, but we have decided that we're going with building capacity in Jamaica, and unless we can't find somebody in Jamaica to coach a team before we go overseas. So we're not counting out overseas coach, but definitely we're looking at Jamaicans first, because it's a trust for us to build capacity here.
Okay, lovely. I like how you put that question, that answer together. That answer actually opens a few more questions in regards to what I would love to ask. Another question is, what are the objectives of this coach, and what is a long-term plan for this coach specifically? I want to get the coach out of the way. That's the reason why I'm asking about him first.
So if you know of our coaching, we have in a coaching school. Marcel Gale is one of the most qualified coach we have. He's a CONCACAF B license coach. He's earmarked also to do a A license this year. We have 6 spaces, and he's one of the person who's assigned a space to become an A license coach. So you can see the trajectory that we are on. We're ensuring that our coaches is as qualified or has the knowledge of the best coaches in the world. And as I said before, we have 27 B license coaches now, because it's something that we're doing. We have 6 C license coaches in Jamaica. We have 120 spaces for C license coaches this year. We have done 85 B license. So and we have 24 more spaces for B license coaches. So you see, what Jamaica is doing is building capacity, ensure that we have coaches right down to the grassroots level, so we'll be able to prepare better players for the national team. So that is the journey that we're embarking on now. Paul Hall is a pro license coach. That's the most qualified coach we has ever had in the history, as far as we know. Pro license from Europe. Of course, we have had coaches with the same license from other jurisdictions, but as we know, Europe UEFA is the #1 in the world at this particular
True.
point in time. So, and he has volunteered to help us with the education of the coaches. So he's a whole trust. So one of the best things to do is to have Marcel Gale in charge. If you notice, people like Maran Garden is also a B license coach. So these are the coaches now that we are putting forward to act as a sort of assistant while getting the training on the job for and while they're qualifying more coaches so we can be better off. So the first there's a joint camp between the senior men's national team and the under-20 team coming up on the 16th, which is tomorrow. And Paula will be a part of it with Marcel again. So you can see the way we're going. Is a learn, get educated,
I love that initiative.
And move on. Yeah.
I did a video recently in regards to and a lot of people bashed me for it when I said that if the team that we're selecting right now for the rest of the fixtures, if we could at least incorporate maybe 5, 6, or 7 of the under 20 players in that team for them to be around the professional environment, for them to even understand how it is even on a higher level. So I do understand that, and I do like that. So what is Marcel Gale background like in regards to him being competitive?
Right. So he was the assistant coach at Neville Burtis Bell for St. George's College, and they have won the Manning Cup probably about 4 in 6 years, just before JC took over back. He has been the person who coached the UWI team to Premier League. Remember, he had it in the Major League, and he was the one who got it promoted to the Premier League. He has unfortunately been runner-up with Waterhouse FC male for 2 years in a row. A lot of people doesn't know that he helps with the female team. He's there on the bench too, and they have been the champions 2 years in a row. He's been there. He has also been able to take Waterhouse past the group stages in the CONCACAF competition. Remember, he has gone on to play teams in other jurisdictions. So he has that experience to have coaching team overseas. As I said before, Paula will be holding his hands. So we believe it's a very good investment for him. I mean, he's probably the most qualified local coach ever coached the national under-20 team in terms of the CONCACAF B license. So we think he's highly recommended. We have seen his work, and we believe he's the right person to give this team to at this time.
Yeah, and based off what your explanation, definitely you would have had that winning culture instilled in him. Neville Burtis Bell is a man of perfection, so I don't think he's worked with anybody who's not competent. But he's not
his own. He has won with UWI, and he has been
with Waterhouse. He has done really well with Waterhouse.
Yeah.
Is this appointment a long-term plan or just a short-term, just for the qualifiers and also the World Cup? This is a long-term plan. This is a futuristic plan, knowing that we want to employ him to go to the future. Next 10 years, we're supposed to at least have this man specifically even upgrading his license to a UEFA Pro license at some part of that time, because we want to see him get the best. We want to get the best out of him as a player, with him getting the best out of the players that he have.
Oh, definitely. That is why I said he has already been earmarked to his A license. So that's a progression already, right? He's one of this. We have 6 spaces to the A license, so we are going to be assigning 6 coaches to get upgraded for 2 reasons. One, if persons in Jamaica have an A license, they'll be able to teach the B license. Now, the B license is for elite youths and top amateurs. So while we know that the B license is not where we want to be, it's a progression stage. We just want to go back to tell people who don't understand that we know that we'll never be able to have a lot of fields. We just don't have the money, right? We know. So what we have done is to try some different routes by coaches, education, and club licensing regulation that we have brought into bear. So if we have better clubs and better coaches, we'll get better players. Because as you can see, the biggest and the best example is Belgium, who was ranked 66 in the world when they decided to focus on coaches' education. They are now ranked first, and for years they are in the top 3. Like they can't drop out. So that is what we're looking at. So it's a progression, and we're not looking at him also as the only coach. We're trying to develop, all the coaches in Jamaica. So we'll have a plethora of coaches to choose from.
All
So
right.
I'm not
So
gonna say he's gonna have the job for 10 years. Remember,
okay.
we encouraging a lot of coach to be good, and then we see.
Once the progression is right. All right. So we have gotten the coach out of the way. We want to move into the strategies approaching this particular campaign. So we're thinking about the Olympic is in the here as well, because we're focusing on the Olympics. This under 20 team is focusing towards World Cup and also the Olympics, because they will automatically qualify based off what's happening and how it's structured right now. So we have the under 20 championships coming up, which is the first step. And basically it would be the platform in which these players can get to understand each other, know what is required of them, and how would advance. What are the strategic approach that you guys have taken for this campaign so far, in which the games are just a month away or so?
Well, so first, let me tell you that we know our preparation are late, as usual. I mean, we tried to avoid it, but it happened. So for the next 6 weeks, we are going. So the first of the series of trials to look at the best player. No, one of the big difference here is that we are looking towards professional players to play, unlike other times when we tried the schoolboy, tried to play a lot of schoolboy. So we're looking at professional. So we're not saying you can't be a schoolboy and play, but we're looking at a professional schoolboy who play with professionals to play for the under 20 team. Because when you go to this tournament, you're not finding amateurs there. You are going to be finding professionals there. So
that's true. That's so true.
right. So the first thing we did, we looked at the list of Premier League players that have the age 2003. That is the age you're supposed to be 2000, born 2003 or after, right? So when we look in our Premier League, we found 50 players. I mean, this is really uncanny for us to find 50 players in the Premier League that have the age, right? So then that list was furnished to the coach and the technical staff, Mr. Donzel and Mr. Pearton, looked over that list. And what they did was to look for the players who actually play in their team that start and play a lot of minutes. So they do have a squad of probably about 25. They have picked out of the 50 right now, right? That set of players will be in camp from the 16th, that is tomorrow. And there's a 3-day camp. Now, that camp is for a lot of things. The senior players will be there. It's easy to kind of assess the quality of the under 20 players. Senior players will be there. And they will try to see if these players have the required standard. Right? So after they have done that, there's going to be Leave No Stones Unturned tour, which we will be picking maybe a squad from the players who are in the camp, and they will go right across the length and breadth of Jamaica to look if they missed anybody in the next 6 weeks. Right? So there's a cutoff point at the end of April. After April, they'll not be looking for talent. Between now and the end of April, all the persons who are overseas and want to play for Jamaica with a 2003 age, because you know the big number, because you know they have been calling a lot of people name on social media.
One not ready. I also did the same. Because there was no, I didn't get the clarification. I didn't get the clarification in regards to the name, the age bracket, the year bracket.
Yes, 2003.
So, yeah.
So if you want to play for Jamaica and you're overseas, contact the General Secretary, Wendell Donzel, myself, or Marcel Gale. We will arrange for you to come to the trials before April, the end. Try to come the last week in April before, because that is the time we're cutting off. After that, we're not looking at anybody else. Now, the players who are in professional settings, so if you have a player in Arsenal or Man U, who are we to not take that player? That player don't have to come to the trials. We will call him to account subsequently afterwards. Because as you know, if they are professional players, they can't really just come to the trials willy-nilly.
Yeah, that's true.
Selected, you know, so that is the plan we have in mind. Let's hope it just works smooth.
All right. So I totally understand that aspect of it. No, I know that it's difficult because Funny enough, I know a few persons who are contacting me from all walks of the earth. People from even Argentina contacting me, asking me about playing for the team. And I'm like, what is Jamaica doing in these places? I'm having kids in these places, but we're Jamaican. So I want to look at something because we can talk about football and talent all we want, but I believe that the soft factors in football plays such a huge role in achieving anything you want. So, for example, I'm looking at the last three camps. So we look at the last three campaigns. The last three campaigns, there was none in 2021, 2019, eliminated second in the Group B in CONCACAF final round. 2017, eliminated in CFU first round. 2015, eliminated the fourth group in Group A in the round. Now, if we should track back our mind, so let's take our mind and go back. Is there a particular team of people, because we need to work out the soft factors, is there a particular team of people who would sit and analyze what went wrong in previous campaign and how we can approach in making this current campaign better and not repeat the same set of mistakes? Do we have a body of people who do that, or even someone on the technical staff will address these issues in regards to how we can go and move going forward?
Right. So yeah, there was a meeting and we sat down, and that is why we have the course of action. So let me go back to 2019. We came second in our group to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Mexico actually went on to come second in the World Cup itself, and Mexico did beat us just by goal difference in that qualifiers. Goal difference we drop out by now.
Yes.
That was the first team that, if you look at that team, we had professional youth players playing in that team that Mexico edged. There was Kaim Paris, there was Jamai Tope, there was Javier Brown that played now for the Reggae Boy. Maggie.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Nicky Daly. There was Jedine White. There was this guy used to play for Jay. Well, he's at college. But that team actually, Rochester, that team actually had a lot of players who were already playing professional football. And remember, the coach resigned just before the tournament, and Jerome had to take up that.
Right? Yeah.
So all of those factors, well, the truth is, it was a weird qualifying structure where only the winner of his zone went through, and we were in Mexico, who actually went to the finals of the World Cup itself. So we were in a very hard zone. Maybe any other zone we were in, we would have qualified for the World Cup.
Because we didn't lose any game. We didn't lose any game.
We just drew
Mexico.
In Mexico, yeah. We won all the rest of the games. And I was saying, and so we learned our lesson that, look here, maybe the professional players are better. So and that is why that course of action I just described to you is the one that we decided I want to take. So even for foreign players now in Jamaica that have the quality, we're going to tell them, so listen, you need to go to a Premier League club and try to get the training every single day, because a schoolboy would be out of training, not doing enough to play at this level at this particular time.
Yeah. The reason for this concern is because we have so the reason why I spoke about this, as I said, these are the soft factors in football that many people don't understand, that these actually are way more important than some of the frivolous things that we speak about. Because if we don't know where we went wrong, we can't correct it. We can't.
Well, we did. We know where we went wrong.
And that is good now, because you have now gotten the report that this is where we went wrong, and how can we make it better? Was it a player quality issue? Was any adverse risk management taking place? How can we do better in that particular situation? So, understand.
So if you looked at the team before the 2017 team that was out in the first round, they were all amateur schoolboys that went to that.
Yeah.
So as I said before, we did look, and we came up with a decision that this is what we wanted to do.
Yeah. So basically, 2019 that 2019 team was a more rounded team, a more well-prepared team in regards to quality and going forward.
Right. So one thing I want to say here on your program, a lot of people believe that preparation starts when the national team is called together. That's not true.
No.
And that is one of the things we're trying to fix in all of the things that we're doing at the JFF now. As a matter of fact, what we did for the Premier League is not by design. It's not by accident that we had 50 players. we did say that you must have 8 players in your Premier League squad at 30 that is 21 or under. That was by regulation. We did come back and say we will allow you 5 players in the Premier League. No, you can register any amount, but 5 players on the match card who can be amateur players. That means you don't have to be worrying about your college. If you can play for college, you are able to play in our Premier League because we allow 5 amateur players to play at any one time on the squad at 20. So those we did definitely create that player pathway for you to represent your Premier League club and then come back and represent the country at the national level. So these were by design, things that we had done to ensure that so if we max out all of those, you talk about 5 times 20, 12, you're looking at 60 players who would have been able to play in the Premier League at a very young age without any adverse any adverse reaction.
Oh, okay. And I love that initiative because that I've known a lot of players back then, previous players who didn't get the opportunity to play for to go to college because they already registered playing for a Premier League team, and that actually hampered many people in going forward.
So it's something that we went to CONCACAF with the JFF and said, listen, we have all of these talented players that wants to go to college. Give us a number, and we negotiated and got 5.
All right. So one more of the question is that what is the style of play of the coach, and is the players that are being selected suited to that particular style of play? Because we have to discuss them this week. Because I watch Mount Pleasant, and I'm looking at 4 teams in the league in a JPL. I'm watching. I'm saying these teams evidently you can clearly see their style of play. And because you can see their style of play, you can identify the things that they're doing wrong, and you can also identify how good they are in certain particular areas. Now, I would say Mount Pleasant, very good possession. They know to lock the spaces whenever they lose possession of the ball. They also know the transitional foul because they do that a lot. That is one of the reasons I'm not sure if most people know, but they're on a team who commit the most fouls right now in the JPL, but they don't get any cards because these are just some small transitional fouls to stop the counter attack. Dumble Olin, Waterhouse, and Cavaliers. These 4 teams are teams, and that is one of the reasons why these teams are actually up at the top of the table fighting for honors. Now, we have to identify this aspect because it's important. It's important that we see a brand of football being played from the senior team straight down to the junior team. So is Marcel Gale's style of play somewhat similar or somewhat adaptable to the type of players that are being called to the camp?
So, for instance, I must tell you that Mr. Paul actually has a philosophy document. You're not going to see it though because unless and he was very strident that he wanted to be a part of what the under 20 is doing, right? But I don't really interfere with coaching or who they pick, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question. But I know that what we're looking at is to say if Paul is going to have these under 20 players in some of those players in 2026, then clearly he must have an interest in what they do.
Yes,
and that is why we have merged the first camp. So then he'll be able to talk to the under 20 coach. We have also looked at the under 20 coach probably becoming an assistant to Paul whenever he travels. So this person will start to get the experience. So there's a nice little plan in place, and I'm sure Paul will share his philosophy with the under 20 coach. So it might not be here yet, but it's on its way coming because of the planning.
To me, I like that plan. I really like that plan. And I love the fact that he's very much interested in getting himself involved with the under 20 because that is showing me that he's thinking in one accord. And that is the only way the entirety of the Jamaican football can progress. In regards to it. So if he comes with a philosophy, and the only way that philosophy can be imparted is if he, at every level, he would have gone into that same philosophy. So when he wants a player, if he wants a right back for the national team, he don't necessarily need to run right across the world to get a right back because he already know that someone in the under 20 team who plays that particular philosophy, who understand that philosophy, he can use that particular player. And it goes right down the pecking order for each one of the coaches in these positions. And I love that.
And just to go further, the under 17 coach is Miriam Garden. So again, you see the plan. So there is this Paul and the other two who have the under 20 and under 17. So and Miriam does have the philosophy too.
Yeah. So so I want to touch on the objectives now for this, because next year is the campaign, right? And is it 2024 the Olympics?
No. Our first, we're going to action in June and in July.
And in July. I'm talking about the Olympics. When is the Olympics? Is it 2024? It's the year after the World Cup.
I'm not sure it's 2024 if it's 2025, because remember the Olympic was a year late.
Okay, yeah. So everything put up. No, so what are the long-term objectives and the short-term objectives of this particular campaign?
Right. So our main objective is to qualify for the World Cup. That is our objective. But at the same time, with a developing nation of ours, trying to do a lot of things to catch up with the world, development is important to us. So I mean, if we could get if you have to ask yourself what is success. If you could get 6 players from this under 20 team to transition to the senior team in 2026, that would be a success too. If you could get both teams to be playing similar, you wouldn't know the difference between the under 20 and the senior team. In my mind, that would be success too, because there's some synchronization there. But I mean, the ultimate success is really to qualify the team, and if Jamaica could start to get consistent. You see what is happening to us. We're not consistent. We will do good. We have gone to 5 World Cups, but they are so far apart. What we need to be doing is we want to come to a stage where we go to every single World Cup after this. So that is really what we're working towards: set a foundation, get consistent, and able to be a force right short. I personally believe that Jamaica can rank in the 20s based on the natural abilities that we have. We just need to harness it, and that is what we're all about now.
And I've been on so much debates with people saying that Jamaican football is good. I've been on so much debate with people saying that.
But did they ever know that we have the fastest people in the world? Our physicality is unparalleled. Our strength and explosiveness. So what the problem that we had, that I know is a fact, is that we never know how to play in the moments. Now we're teaching this from D-lights. We teach 2 moments in D-lights now, what you do when you defend, what you do when you attack. When we come to C-lights, we teach 4. So we are now teaching coaches from grassroots how to play in the moments. This is something that we didn't know how to play in transition, or how to transition to attack or to defense. This is what we are now drilling into the coaches. And the good thing about our courses, we don't allow you to theory. You have to go on the field every single day and show us what you can do and get success. So this is a change that we have now in our coaching education, and we believe that in a short term, because you can't teach speed, you have it. I
don't have it
more, but we have it in abundance, and speed is a part of football. That is why all the clubs in Europe pay so much money for players who are fast. So
yeah, that's true.
And that is why I know for a fact that once we teach the clubs, the players, the fundamentals of the game properly, we're gonna be world beaters. I know it as a fact.
Yeah, I think that's where we're like. And the only argument that I normally use to people is this: if you look at any top clubs right across the world, where do they recruit players? They always recruit in the lower divisions, some 3rd-tier divisions. They find the gems and all these superstar type of players, and that's just natural. Before I get to my other questions, I have a few questions in the comment section. Let me get a few questions in the comment section.
Sure.
Ryan LFC, nice to see you, bro. Real 9 said, I'm sorry, said Jamaica will never see another World Cup. Ooh, we need to get, we need to start. Well, we'll be getting there. Let me see. Javon said the Mexican team that finished second was the under 17, and they were supposed to participate in the next qualifiers that got cancelled due to COVID. Jaden Brown said, is there anybody in the JFF, anybody affiliated to the JFF, extensively scouting and recruiting players from overseas in the USA, Europe, and other regions?
So we have people, not officially, unofficially, who are recommending players to us, and now we're going to take a look at all of them. But we don't have any official scout. But the good thing about players like in Europe now, remember the national senior team coach is there. So there was, somebody actually sent me a name, and I sent it on to him. He didn't know of the person, but he was able to find the person, and the person has agreed to play for Jamaica in the senior team. So we are just going to use the same process. If we find somebody in the UK that we think is able to help us, we're going to go through him. We also have interest from other players who have played for Jamaica in the World Cup before. You can guess their names. They have expressed interest that they want to help too, and we're going to be using those people for scouting purposes.
Oh, that's nice, because I personally, I don't think it's hard. It's not hard to get people to scout for players, because I have someone in Peru right now who's asking me to look at players in the JPL. Asking me to look at players in the JPL. So it's not hard. And I'm in Jamaica, he's in Peru, and he's looking at our players. He's looking at our players to transition all over the world.
Also, when I remember when we were looking for defenders, there is a association for ethnic players. Because I use that word. I don't want to say black. In England, and I was in contact with the president, and they were able to just send us a list of all the players who have Jamaican background, and we're able to sift through and identify some players that we wanted for the senior team. So that is there.
Okay, understood. Andrew 55 said every 4 years JFF do the same thing. Them drop out and drop all the ballers them and start with youth, and then we still don't use them in the next World Cup qualifiers. So exactly. let me contextualize that now. So, for example, like what we're doing right now, we're out of the World Cup. We're out of the World Cup right now, and what we're seeing is basically a brand local-based set of players going to play the rest of the qualifiers. So basically, that's what we're looking at right now. So they're saying that we do this every time. There's no level of continuity in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but that's not. No, what you just say is not true. So you say this is social media is good, but it starts a lot of propaganda. That's not true. What the coach has done is to pick the best 15 players that is available to him, and what he's doing is trying to find out 8. So it's not true that we're going to pick pure youth to play in the World Cup qualifier. It's not true. There's no truth to it.
Okay.
Not true any at all.
All right. That clarified, because the thing that they're afraid of, is the consistent chop and change that we have been struggling with for years now. I think that is what most Reggae Boy fans we are hurt emotionally of the same issues popping up consistently over again. We don't want to be a case in which on the 24th Jamaica play against Honduras and it's a brand new 11.
That won't happen. That no happen. We sat down and we talk about that. Why we wouldn't do that any at all? Our ranking has tanked. That's one, and we can't afford to tank anymore. 2, we are going to be in the A category of the Nations League this time around. So that's going to be high competition, and the Nation League is what qualifies us for the World Cup. So that's not going to happen. What the Reggae Boy fans are thinking, it's not going to happen. We're going to always feel the best team, but we're going to say, okay, we feel the best team, but why we're not looking at 8 or so other players who we think going to be ready to play in 2026? And let me tell you the thinking here, and we discussed it. People need to give us a little credit. We discussed it. The average age of the team right now is 28.5 years. The average age at win World Cup, you can check it, is between 27 and 27 and a half.
Yeah.
So if we're going to be playing 4 years' time, what the average age of the team needs to be if you want to win the World Cup?
About 26.
No, in 4 years.
Of 4 years later. Okay.
In 4 years' time, you want the average to be 27 and a half. That's the age at win.
But for now, the average age should be in the region of 23, 22. It should be lower.
So definitely you can see where we're trying to get the average age down. We have to get the average age down if we're going to compete, because the game is a young man game now. It is. You have still have the old players who are doing exceptional well and when they are really good, but it has become a young man game. So we're conscious of that fact, and but we're not going to chop and change. We need to still be competitive, and I'm sure some of those players that play now still will be able to play in 2026 because they are so good. So that's not gonna happen. So Reggae Boy fans, rumor, don't believe in it. It's not gonna.
All right, that's it. And that's good. That's definitely good. That's good to know. All right, so we have the games around the corner. What are there any practice game put in place for the under 20 team, or would try to utilize the senior team to get them up to that level in regards to playing together, since you guys incorporate both teams together?
Right. So the under 20 gonna play against every single Premier League team, right? That's gonna happen, right? In equally in the trying to the process of picking the right squad, probably after for games to get practice games. Very expensive to play international games, but I'm not counting them out. But at this point, there's none will line up. There's none line up now. But we know for a fact they will play in every single Premier League teams in the country.
I think that is actually have good competition as well. And in the same sense, you could see some other Premier League teams with another player who shows the potential of representing. Jaden Brown is asking, what qualification does Miran Gardner have?
He has a CONCACAF B license. He's Miran Garden among 27 other coach. Well, Miran Garden and like a Marcel Gill, as I said before, and Dean that coach a women under 17 and Xavier Gilbert a coach under 20. The minimum requirement right now to coach a national team is a CONCACAF international license, a CONCACAF B license. If you don't have one of those, you're not getting any job to coach national team.
All right. I'm gonna go into the psychological aspect of football now. For over the years, the U team, the female U team, the female male team, female senior team, the male U team, the male senior team, we have been experiencing failure for many years now, over and over again, repeatedly, and it become a subconscious part of our mind where we're so used to failure. It seems as if we're in a limbo and we just can't come out of that particular limbo. Now, psychologically, are you guys putting in things in place to for the players in particular to see to break the psychological barriers?
Yes. So what we have done is to create a player pathway, because before there was not a road created for players who want to play for the national team to come up to that standard. So now what we have done is created that road. We didn't get to put it in place because of the pandemic and the government doesn't allow us to play football at certain level. So this is what we have done. And the board has passed and everything is part of our strategic plan. I talked to you already about the coaching education and the club licensing. That is why Wadada had so much problem playing in the Premier League, because you have to do certain things for us to recognize you as a club to play top flight. Also, the second tier competition is on its way. We have 12 teams now. We're ready to go. So instead of you playing in they are bullying a little quarter at that level, you have to go national. So we expect that to be one of the grooming grounds for young players who are not able to get into the Premier League teams right away. So the player pathway we have created is grassroots program in every single parish, and we have some funds to do it. Then each parish will pick a under 13 team and an under 15 team, and they will play a national competition. So we get the players to be traveling up and down over the place, playing against people that they don't know, playing against good teams, etc. At the under 17 level, in the memorandum of that the JFF signed with the professional team, the MOU, what the JFF says to the professional team, that say you must play a competition at under 17 and the under 20 level between yourselves. So what these clubs will have to do now is to go to the parish competition and pick the best players. So now you can say the part, and in addition to that, we have said you must pick 8 or 9 of the players in your senior squad who is under 21. So there is now this clear pathway created that we should be able to bring forward, say, 14 times 30 under 13 players, 14 times 30 under 15 players, we're going to be tracking players from that age. Then when you come to the professional teams, you're going to have the 18 plus 16 Premier League and 18 Tier 2. And we expect between those two, we're supposed to capture all the good talent and then progress them up. And then that is the party for you to get into the various national teams, the under 15, the under 17, the under 20. So instead of just preparing you to play when you catch 19 to play under 20, we start preparing you from your
13,
13 to play with elite. So what we have done is create an elite youth program. I hope you're playing it. Yeah, somebody's gonna say, yeah, well, what about the guy who wasn't elite? Yes, we catch you later on somewhere, but for now, we're creating this program so you have a clear pathway.
Yeah. All right. So the reason I asked about that is because I have spoken to many of the schoolboy coaches, and all of the champion teams have something. I'm not gonna break the secret. All of the champion teams have something that the other schoolboy teams don't have, and that is a psychologist. They have someone to help the players on a psychological aspect. All of the champion team, JC, the KC, all of the Clarendon College, all of these teams have a team psychologist. Now, is this something that I think that will be imparted into the national setup, or we don't pay that much attention? Because that is the reason I asked the question in the first place now. Because I want to know if we're trying to help the players themselves in breaking that psychological bond barrier in getting over the line. We have so much players in our national team right now who have been, this is basically their third campaign, World Cup qualifiers campaign, and they're failing as well. No, it has to be some psychological defect in that. It has to be. Are we looking to implement that in all our setups, even the local, even the JPL teams, get in someone who has relatively good knowledge or can do that aspect of it in being a sports psychiatrist?
Well, we have made it compulsory, so teams can do it if they want. And I'm sure once you have best practices, other people start to follow if they want to be successful. But there's a number of things that we're doing. I mean, having a psychologist wasn't one of them that we made compulsory. But in our strategic plan, every club must have a goalkeeper coach, every club must have a fitness trainer, every club must have an analytic person. And those are the ones we're looking at. So now we have goalkeeper coach in the coaching school who's coaching the goalkeepers to coach players. So we took that step. The psychologist, we have not done it. I say it is a compulsory subject. Although we have done psychology courses in our courses.
Coaching, coaching
like
courses.
2 hours or 4 hours or whatever. It's not enough. So I take your point and I'm going to look at it. I must tell you that we had a psychologist in the first round of the Reggae Boy competition. I got 1 point out of the 9. I mean, it didn't work.
Yeah, man.
I take your point. But I think, though, you see, with the pathway that we create for elite youths, I think we need to find what you suggest somewhere in there. Maybe it's not direct, but because the player's mind will be of a certain nature, the competitiveness and you want to exceed. You know why you focus.
The reason
that might help, but I take your point. I'm going to have a talk with Mr. Peart, who is the head of our coaching school, and see if we can implement it in the teachings.
The reason why I did it is because I was speaking, because I have spoken to a lot of most of the local Premier, most of the stars, them always have discussion with them because them follow me page, so we can if they never follow me, we can't talk to them because they're a star. Me not a star, me just an average man. Me just an average man. So but them always willing to talk to me. And people, the players are a really nice person. Speaking with other even agents overseas, they always speak about the psychiatrists that work with the clubs and also the national teams. Now, the role of the psychologist is, we can't understate it at no point in time because it plays a big factor. All the top teams right across the world, they have a psychologist. And just to give an example, that is the reason I said the top teams, the top schools in Jamaica who are doing well in the sporting events, they have sports psychiatrists with them to nurture them going through. When a player picks up an injury, the physiotherapy alone cannot get the job done. They need to get the break that barrier of getting back themselves at that level that they should participate. So I think that is the importance of it. But
Well, I agree with you 100%, you know, and that is why a lot of time I kind of act that part in my situation because, but the real reason is affordability. I'm telling you. So when you struggle to pay the bills at the end of the month, you try to cover the player's salary. So you know, for you to have a lot of more support staff is really difficult. We hope that when the Caribbean Professional League comes around next year, you know of the plan, right?
What?
The Caribbean Professional League, which Jamaica is designated a hub.
Okay. No, I didn't know of the plan.
Right.
You can enlighten us.
Right. So the plan is for us to take 30% of our roster will be Caribbean nationals. And with that in mind, we'll be giving out a budget, pretty substantial amount of money. So the league can become professional. So we'll be a hub. There'll be 3 hubs. We Trinidad and Tobago and Dominica Republic. So there'll be like 36 teams, but you have to take 9 players on your roster from the smaller countries. For development, and then you'll be given a substantial amount of money. So I'm sure once we reach that stage, we'll be able to, not this year coming up, the next Premier League year, we'll be able to really employ those type of persons.
But that's a great idea. That's an exceptional idea, because that would make those 3 countries in the Caribbean basically become the talent-based hub where all the players would want to play to reach at one of those. And if Jamaica can be the top tier one out of it, that would be better. You see a lot more money coming in, a lot more people paying money to even participate, a lot more viewership as well. So that's more money. And I do think that Sportsmax alone broadcasting the JPL, I don't think that is sufficient, because when I'm watching the Sportsmax, I'm seeing George doing the commentary, and then later in the office, George doing the match review and all those things. So that would open a lot more doors.
George is a good guy, man.
Yeah, no, I know, because I know. But as I said, I don't understand why you'd have to be doing so much work. He's doing too much work.
The truth is the money. I'm telling you. I mean, we try to get it to another TV station. We just can't get it. We can't afford to, because you have to pay to put it there. It's our old culture.
Broadcasting, right.
Right. It's our old culture, or we look at sporting events. I mean, in other jurisdiction, people will be paying us to broadcast it. So when we go to some station, they say, no, you have to pay us to put it on our station. So that is really what is happening to us.
Oh, okay. Once we can implement that aspect of it in regards to being the hub, I do think that a lot of people would be more interested in it. So you'll find. And
yes, I agree. When we're playing and Doxel is playing from St. Lucia, every single person from St. Lucia is watching. Like every person.
Exactly.
Is watching. He got our heroes welcome when he went back.
All right, so that is saying that people definitely want to see it, and when that happens now, I think you'll have more countries now willing to pay for subscription to view it. So I do think that we might find. I'm going to. I told me I'm not rich. If me I'm rich, I'm tell them, say, hey, invest in a broadcasting company in this thing, because if we tell people, me already inform people that this thing will go pop quite soon. This thing will definitely go pop quite soon, and people are not even looking. People are just blind to certain things.
Well, we are the envy of the Caribbean now, the JPL, you know. It's the best one in the Caribbean right now. I mean, we kill it, but you can see there's improvements. There's a major financial institution who is talking about IPOs for the clubs now, right? So there's a silver lining down the road, and that was only made possible because, you know, a lot of people knock it, but when we decided that, listen, we wanted professional people to run the JPL, who wanted independent person, it was a big move, because people are now saying, okay, I have interest over there. First time it was Speed and some other people, and they were saying, well, I don't know if I want to go there. But now with a Christopher Williams, who has his reputation of proven, and a Danny Chung, a lot of distance, people are saying, oh, these are important people in the country, and we see where they're going, and we want to invest, and we want to help. And so a lot of people coming on board now. So I can only say, for us to handle the football properly, you can see us going places in the future, but it's gonna take a while, you know. It's gonna take a while. People don't believe it's gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a while, but I think if we put the right things in place, once we go back to the next World Cup, we'll be qualifying for every World Cup after that, and that is what we're aiming for.
Yeah, I do believe so. And And for me, I love doing the JPL because I find it as a as my special project. I do find it as my special project. I never have it on the program before, still, so maybe I'm gonna have to ask Manning's man for permission.
No, don't bother that. Anytime, just call us.
Yeah. But for me, because I genuinely love football, I even watch the third tier Brazilian league. So it's hard to find, but some of the time you can watch this thing because talent is everywhere. I personally believe that talent is everywhere. It doesn't matter where you play, and it's not a sense in which, because people would generally say that you're hyping up this person, you're hyping up. No, you see what? For example, someone asked a question here. Town FC said, please ask why Richard King is in Jamaica. Before I answer the question, many people didn't know about Richard King until when he represented the national color. So, for example, a person like me who's watching the local Premier League, I know of Richard King. There's a lot more in the Premier League similar to with top quality. I'm telling people, I'm saying that guy at Mount Pleasant, Daniel Green, is a phenomenal player at some point in time. But guess what? Exposure is a different thing. We have seen Bonisha came out. Bonisha said it the other day that the only difference with her and other players in Jamaica, female players in Jamaica, is the opportunity. She said the only difference, and we're speaking about someone who's in Europe, who's creating waves in Europe, and she said the only difference with her and other players in Jamaica is just the opportunity. So she's saying that she have seen even better players than her, but she got the opportunity. So, Mr. Speed, why is Richard King still in Jamaica?
Well, there's no transfer window. There's the only transfer window that is open now is to go to USA. There's no transfer window in Europe. So
okay.
Carl, I understand the thing. So probably won't be in Jamaica after the next transfer window.
Let me see if I can find a more. Roland Cotton said Richard King's a beast. All right, so this is the question. Do you believe that SBF helps the grassroots? Do you believe that the schoolboy football helps the grassroots youth players?
Look here, a lot of people keep on trying to compare. All of them help. In other words, people progress differently. So, for instance, a lot of those schools that just do exceptionally well, those players come from clubs. They don't come from the school. They are club players who, like, for instance, I try to get my best players into a good school. So I will start and they continue the education. So the players get to play for 12 months of the year. And so they go to the school for 6 and they come back to the club for 6, or they do 8-4, whatever the ratio is. But both club and school is very important to get the players to where they are. If they were playing for only school or only club, it just wouldn't work out at all. So nobody don't bash anybody. Both of it is good. What I do is try and get my players into certain particular schools where they get good coaching and they get the food and they get proper tuition and etc. Because at the club I cannot afford to keep them for 12 months. So I'm happy for the schools to give them over to the school for 6 months and then they come back.
Yes, makes sense. It makes sense. The funny thing about it now, so I did an interview with Christopher Pearson a while back, and we spoke about a lot of things. Now, someone in the comment section said that military are always hyping up the schoolboys, because I'm not sure if you know that I cover the schoolboy football as well.
Yeah, no.
I cover the schoolboy football as well. So they said I'm always hyping up the schoolboy. No, this morning, that same person messaged me and said, "Oh, Christopher Pearson, bad man, me see him on his debut." I made a screenshot his comment when he said a few months ago. I said, "Is this you?" I said, "Is this you?" So what we tend to do, right? And it's a cultural thing. I'm not sure if it's a Jamaican thing, but I do believe that it's embedded in us, in our second nature, that we tend to disregard what we have of our own. I'm not saying that we should overhype or put too much emphasis on that, but we also can recognize when we have something good. We need to learn to recognize when we have something good. It might not be the best, but we have to learn to recognize when we have something good. He's a good player. Now, as the question was, does the FBA help the grassroots players? SBF help the grassroots players. It does not fully or 100% help them, but I do think that it plays a role in their development. It may not be at the Europe level where they get that from academy, from their 6 or 5 year old, you may not get that, but it does help with their progression in football. Because if Christopher Pearson didn't play schoolboy football, where would he be playing? And look at him right now in a JPL at age 18 on his debut, scoring and assisting on his debut with a tremendous performance. So it does help. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. No, I believe, Mr. Speed, that there's a notion that we should get it right overnight. There's a strong belief that we should immediately tomorrow we should implement a system where football is playing right throughout the year. I just don't think all right. For me, I don't think it can happen like that. But Mr. Speed, tell me if you believe that it can happen like that. Do we have a structure for that?
What a lot of people have to understand, that a youth, a boy or girl, when I say youth, is a complex individual. I mean, when they go into school, they're a student, and everybody have to go to school. When they're at their parents' home, they are daughters or sons, and when they're at the club, they're a player. So you have to understand the reality. You have to realize, say, some people are saying that people must play football 12 months a year. They're not making their kid play football 12 months a year because they have to go to school, right? And them have to be a son or a daughter, talk to them family, do whatever they have to do. So there's that mixture. I find that it worked magnificently if we had some of the other things in place. So for instance, if all the coaches in the schoolboy league were B license coach, which is what we're trying to do, then we wouldn't have no issue, because so their education will be taken care of when they're not at the club level with those top coaches. And that is why we embark on the program that we are in. Also, we have to think about the reality of our situation. The school don't want the boy to play for 12 months either, because the principal don't have a budget from anywhere to fund that program, basically. Right?
Right through a year.
Yeah.
And the clubs as well.
And the club don't want him to play for 12 months with the club, because we don't have a budget either. So you have to think about our reality and marry them. Concerning that particular item, FIFA is now coming up with a program for high school, which I'm supposed to do some paperwork and send back to them, because they realize the importance of schoolboy football, which is a grassroots program. So people don't think grassroots is under 12. Schoolboy football is a grassroots program that they find that it is very important to football. So let me just go down the road again. Football is not just the players. Don't ever believe that for 1 minute. Well, we need spectators. Who are gonna love football if people never, like how you love it military, you know, go play pro, but you love football because you used to play it at a grassroots level. We need doctors, we need physio, we need physical trainer, we need coaches, we need referees, we need so much things to make the sport of football operate.
And people just get up and chat about it like me.
Yes. No. So people are just looking at one aspect, just a player. But football is important to play everywhere in every community, so we can have a real good family. So and then the real good ones that will matriculate out and go on to better things.
Yeah, understood. There's a question. Giovanni said, can the JPL clubs have academies that play in a league that runs the length of the JPL season? Coaches can learn their trade, injuries, first team players can get match fit, and youngsters will improve.
Right. So our technical committee that people just believe, so we are here to fire coaches and employ coaches. We actually have a document now that we did work on for academies, and the JFF, I think they might have sent out to the parishes, or they are they're going to be sending it out. And what we came up with was a nice document that governs the running of academies. So so there's going to be A, B, and C and D quality academies based on how structured you are, and it is for 8 months though, not for 12 months. I mean, if they want, they can, but the minimum going to be you have to have the players in your academy for 8 months. There are going to be laws that governs how many time a week they have to meet and train, how much people have to have in training, etc., etc. So that will become a reality in the next couple of weeks. So all the academies, everybody in Jamaica can now decide to have an academy. What we found that we could not rely on the clubs or the schools, because some schools only play for 2 months in the competition, to really prepare the players properly for international games. So we have introduced the academies now, and you will see there will be academy leagues. You're going to find A academy play against A academy, or probably A and B play together, and C and D. So that is on the train. We put that in place.
And that's lovely to know. That definitely sounds like the route of how grassroots football should be going. Ian Hibbert said, just like our young you guys are blood young players. We the fans also would like to see some new faces in the JFF areas.
So, no, man, let me answer, man. I'm not sure if I have a question. So, the problem with the JFF apartheid is political, just like politics, right? So, you have to try to get your team together, who's ever asked a question, and vote out the people who inside there. And good luck to you.
You hear that, Ian? Ian, you get your answer. It's politics. You get your team together. You marry your soldiers. I want to vote. I want to vote for you.
Yeah.
So, Fabian said psychology plays a big role in sports than most people realize. And I totally agree with that. Rolanda said the package of the Premier League has improved so much that I watched it overseas.
Yes, I mean, look here. We don't want to bash anybody, but if you used to go anywhere and then you're in a match and you look, easy, some things uncomplimentary at the side of the field, and the field don't look prepared good, and the ball bounce all over the place. You kind of say chum can't bother, but we kind of congregated in one place, make sure they have good venues to play, and more pleasing to eye. It's more of a television product now.
That's true. Well, sometimes I feel like I used to be harder still. Yes. But there's not much you can do because I watch the Premier League and something will leak out. So there's not much you can do about that. So Fabian, Roland said, Mr. Speed, I'm happy that you took the time to do this interview. I think JFF needs to contact with the fans more. Talk to us who want to know what is going on.
So, I think the people are afraid of call them all sorts of names and call them all sorts of things. That's right.
When fans upset man, especially football fans, man, with dark, Fabian said, what is being done at primary and prep school level? A lot of talent in the primary and prep school, not as many coaches. All these top high schools scored footballers from these primary school levels.
No, well, what we did like a survey, and we found that when there was 2,000 coaches at the primary school level who were not certified. They had no certification any at all. I could play some clips for you when you do the D license. Some coaches say, "Listen, I was just abusing the kids." They actually tell. Yeah, one of them said I was just abusing the kids. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just coaching and just abusing the kids. So it is something that we know about, and we report it to FIFA, and FIFA say, yeah, we need to get on with a program to make sure that every single kid is coached by a coach that have some training. Okay. And that is why we introduced the D license. So since the last 2 months, we have qualified 80% at the D license level. We're going to have a D license course in every single parish before the end of the year. We expect to qualify probably another 200. So it's a work in progress. I mean, we're going.
He's a coach, Mr. Speed, but he's overseas. He's coaching. He's doing his coaches badges in the US. So,
that's great. Yeah,
and he's very good at youth because he's also a teacher. So I may assume that he might be coming back to Jamaica to come and fulfill that.
We hope he does. And the coaching course now, you see, when we do the D license, we can start to identify the coaches we're going to recommend to the C. So there's a progress that we're doing now, and it's very hands-on, and is actually a good. I mean, we are commended by CONCACAF of what we have done so far in our coaching school. We're doing really a good job now.
Giovanni said Pearson is one also should be transferred elsewhere. If we should make it to the World Cup, more opportunities could open up, and that is a fact. Once any one of the team make it to the World Cup, that is definitely more eyes on the team.
If we win the World Cup too, you'll get there too.
Exactly. Alex is asking about the player named Calvin that came on yesterday.
Oh, he's from Antigua.
Antigua.
He has 2 passports. He has a Jamaican passport and an Antiguan passport.
Oh, okay. Neo Sovereign said, big up Neo. Headline in today's Observer, Issa Boss Wellington believes that the JFF needs to provide more football for the youth after they finish Issa organized competition.
Issa Boss is right.
Mr. Wellington have a fire shot in serious man, serious. But he's right. He's definitely right. But the thing I believe is this, like, for example, like me, when I finished schoolboy football, I didn't really have any interest in playing professional football. I didn't really have that interest. So one of the players that I played with, he's actually at Mount Pleasant. That's Sole McCullough. We played under 16 together. We played under 17 together. We played the Casa Cup together. Go straight up. And he went on to further his career, but I wasn't focusing on that. And just like me, I'm not saying that I was that talented, because me have two left foot. My biggest asset was my pace, because I went even champs run 10, I think I run 10-6 something at champs. So I had a lot of pace. So at school, that was my biggest attribute. But Sole McCullough was always a versatile player. That he plays for Mount Pleasant. He's always a versatile player. Now you're going to have a lot of players who just did not move on from the schoolboy football level. As you said, some schools only play for 1 month. So Sole McCullough has a brother who is actually way more technical than him, but he did not pursue football. He did not pursue football. But that is just how it is. So if there's a particular system in place where there's more game time to be played throughout the year, I do think that you will have more people focusing, or more of these students focusing on playing more football. More so after schoolboy football, we just go working on our wholesale.
Exactly. Because the pay is better than the wholesale.
You never get a pay. I'm more money. I have me little just go a road, and I have me little something that I have to give one little $1,000.
No. So, and that is why we're trying to create the player pathway, and that is why also we're bringing on the tier 2, which should be semi-pro. We're also trying to create a professional women's league, because we believe that if we create a professional women's league, we'll be able to be much better prepared to perform overseas. And because, again, look here, our women are so physical, strong, PSC, I believe we'll be able to give it. In the women's game, I think we just spend a little bit more money, we'll do better in the women's game than the men in terms of ranking. I believe so. I believe that.
Yeah, well, from the game that I've seen so far, we dominate everybody in regards to physicality. we look on Bonisha. I wouldn't even want to fight Bonisha. If she tackled me, I would apologize to her.
Yes.
Fabian said, ask Mr. Speed if he want to give me a job at JFF.
To do what? Fabian.
To do what? Fabian is a coach. He studied psychology.
What coaching batch him up?
I'm not sure. I would have to ask.
Fabian, apply, man.
Apply, Fabian,
Once
apply.
he's a Jamaican, that's where we're going.
Apply.
Apply.
Ronaldo said, is the same effort being made for women's football in Jamaica, because our women's team is a real gem?
No, it's not. Rolanda, we're not going to fool you. It's not, and that is why we're trying to get women football in a position where, when we say football, we don't even ask if it's male or female. So those same player pathway that we're trying to achieve in the men's game is the same thing we're trying to achieve in the women's game, and we're trying to become a women in short order before 2025 become a fully professional women league, so they can get paid just like the men to play. So that is what we're working on now.
All right, well said. Neil said, Wellington believes the youth need more game time because some develop later and some talent is being left behind. Yeah, you have late bloomers in football, and because he didn't show that level at the earlier stage, people say he's not good. But it's just that's just how football is. You have late bloomers.
And you're right, because a lot of players who would have played in the national under 17 team, here's a lot of players now who just blossom up ahead of them right away by the time they catch 19. So you're so correct. It's true.
Giovanni said the student athletes can play ISA competition, and one serious about football can compete in the academy league on the weekends, so they can transition to the senior squad in the JPL. And the JPL would improve. So you're saying that you can just keep the academy games right throughout the weekends.
Right. So it's two things now, Giovanni. The JPL is one, but the tier 2, which we haven't named it, that is going to kick off this year with the second tier team. So in other words, instead of having Major League in every parish or the Super League in every 4 parish or 2 parish, you're going to have a second tier competition that transcends the whole of Jamaica, the best team from the parish. And we expect that league also to help with the development of young players. We're going to have the same rules in those leagues to say you have to have 8 players below a certain age.
Okay, so the transition continue. So there's a level of continuity. That's nice. That's nice. Romario Lawrence said, think him did name of a brother named Kambuji Makala. Yes, and Kambuji Makala and I served time in the military. Kambuji is still serving, but I am not serving. So, we go look money. Alex said, ask him if he can play. Ask Calvin if he can play. Alex a scout. Alex upon his stream a scout. Well said, Alex.
Well, I don't know. The chap was born in Jamaica and grew up here, but then he was in Antigua for the last 7 or 8 years. His mother lived there still. I mean, he just contacted me and said he wanted to come back. I love the youth chance. I say, come up, Mr. You can do, and we'll give him a contract. So he's here now for the time being. So it's his call, really.
All right. Fabian said, I was waiting for 5 years for the coaching course in Jamaica. At the time, they called it level 1. And as me migrate, them start the coaching license.
Fabian, I must tell you, the truth is, we had to do a review of what we're doing. We found that, although we had very good intention, the way we used to teach the course is time leave it. So we had to do a lot of work to get to where we are now. And really, that is why we just start back. So sorry about that, but we think we're on the right track now. So it go.
It's good. Some of the time it's good to go back to the drawing board and really assess where you're going wrong. And then that's how you can get better. If you don't go back to the drawing board, that's how you can get better.
Because I thought I was a good coach until I did the CONCACAF B license. Then I realized, brother, you never know anything. I mean, that's a reality.
So think about it. When the higher you go, there's way more knowledge to be imparted.
Yes.
As I said, I like the fact that Paul Hall has come across with his philosophy book, where he's going to say, okay, guys, this is what we want to do, and it's going to be good because with Mr. Gill working with Mr. Hall, it would have definitely shown Mr. Gill some of the things that he didn't even knew and understand and impart that knowledge as well. So you actually put him in prime position to even fast track even his courses that he'll be doing.
And also Miriam will be doing the under 17. Both of them will be Paul assistant now. So you see there's this synergy and
continuity. Roland said, I don't remember what they call it, but we have a league, under 15 league that was televised.
That was a CASAFA under 15.
Under 15, yeah. Neil Sobrin said, unlike the past, ISA sounds more open to working with the JFF to help develop football as a serious career pursuit. This might be a big opportunity for the JFF to influence and expand on youth football. That's true.
Well, as we speak, as I was telling you before, the FIFA has asked us to look at our model, and we hope that eventually they'll sponsor us to develop the school football. And yes, Mr. Wellington, he has worked with the JFF in some sensitive areas, which unless he wants to talk about it, I won't say anything. Help us with the coaching school. So he's working hard to help us to develop the game. He loves the sport.
Okay. So Reggae Boy Central listener, I should read a Twitter. I don't have access to it right now, to my Twitter DM right now. If I wasn't online, I would definitely have access to it. Reggae Boy Central. Maybe you're gonna have to put it inside of the DM. But maybe after the program, I'll check it when the program finishes. Someone is asking, who is Clive Gale?
Clive Gale?
Mm-hmm.
You mean?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You're talking about a player that I have named Clive Gale.
Clive Gale.
Yeah. Every now and then, we'll find somebody that nobody knows. He's one of those. We're trying to work and then we'll see talent there.
Shrewd recruiting. Someone is asking for the name of the under 20 players. Well, you want under 20 players and even senior call up.
I'm sorry, I can't give you those. It's not my forte.
All right, so he said he sent you a message he have for you, so I'll maybe read that after the program. I can't access it right now. So I'll take the last question before we close off. I saw the under 20 coach and senior coach of Honduras working together, and the under 20 coach of El Salvador is a senior assistant. So it's good that all is working with Gale. So all the top programs are doing similar, if not the same,
Yeah.
aspect on how they're trying to program the system. And as someone said in the comment section, that it's good that we can have that level of continuity where the senior team is working, senior coach is working with the junior coach, and the senior team is also working with the junior team. So if it's in the event someone is out of the senior team, a junior player can reach in, and I think that's good. That's a good way to progress going forward, because we haven't seen that much continuity. Karim said, is there a system that are being passed to coaches about the Jamaica way of play going forward?
As I said before, the head coach, he has a philosophy, but and it looks pretty good at the first glance, but he's supposed to fix it up, and then I'm sure you'll see it. You'll see it in Jamaica style of play going forward.
Mm-hmm. Roland Codner said, will the JFF mandate a certain style of play for the academies?
No, but one of the things that we look into the academies is ensure that we have certified coaching there. So those coaches will be exposed somewhat to the philosophy. So if I've tried to look at philosophies all over the world, and I've never seen it written down anywhere. So some people, you're not going to see it written down anywhere. They're not going to write it down and make you know what they're doing. They will have it written down, but they're not going to share it. I've never seen it on YouTube or anywhere. But if you are smart enough and you're able to assess what the senior national team is doing and you have your academy, you just copy it. Because why not? If you want your players to be considered to be able to do what the senior team is doing, then you should be able to do it. You should be copying it at your academy.
I think a lot of people misunderstand the concept of philosophy. Philosophy has a lot to do with how one thinks or operates. So you and I, Mr. Speed, would have gone to a coaching school, right? We are setting the same coaching level batch. And your way of thinking about football is vastly different from my way, despite us doing the same course.
Yes.
Because you might believe that a possession-based team may be way more effective in getting the result, and I may believe that a team who's more direct is way more effective.
Right.
And the important aspect is always see yourself getting the results at the end of the day. And it's not that you are wrong or I am right. Because even if you look right across the world, Pep Guardiola plays totally different from Jose Mourinho. And Jose Mourinho basically lifted the same amount of trophies as a Pep Guardiola.
Right.
And same level trophies as well.
And Klopp coming, and you have the other guy from Chelsea coming. So
exactly.
They're all successful.
And they are successful. It's just the particular person or individual. So if I am the coach of the senior team, it doesn't necessarily mean that the junior coach is going to have that same style of play. It doesn't mean that, because we might view football a bit different. But definitely, I do understand where people is coming from, because people would want to see if the senior team is playing possession-based football, we want the junior team as well to be playing possession-based football, which makes it a little bit more adaptable or easy to transition into. So I do understand that aspect as well.
Well, the truth is that a lot of times people are able to play in a particular way because they have a certain type of players.
True. And quality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the higher quality, you the better chances of getting the better result.
Right.
Because if you have a Richard King in defense, you more than likely can see yourself having a few more clean sheets.
Right.
Because you have a better defender.
And if you have a slow team, you can't play counter.
You can't. I want to reach the striker.
Yeah. So you better play possession based with team slow. And that is why people don't understand why these Spaniards are so technical. But they have to play that game. They're not as physical as other teams.
Ganesh said, Mr. Speed, are you looking forward to doing the A license?
I'm the first one up.
Makes sense. So Paul Hall, therefore 4 games on holiday as a philosophy. Gunaton.
Yeah. Gunaton.
All right, Gunaton. Mr. Speed, would you plan to establish an inter-primary school football championship?
There's one. There's a primary school football championship, run by what is the name? In sport. Yeah, I think in sport run it, but sometimes not run so good, to be honest. Yeah.
Fabian said, I'm learning a different culture of football. I'll be back to help JFF and Jamaica in about 5 years. Jamaica is my home. I love Jamaica. Move from that, Fabian.
Fabian, I love that. Make sure when you come back, do it, Fabian. When you come back, remember, say man, I got have A license and pro license. So make sure you have one of those, yeah.
And that him come back with this man in bright. I'm sure that him come back with the bright of red. Yeah. Bright, man. If you listen to him, man, no fight. He always come on the program, man. If you listen to him, man,
make sure, Fabian.
Too much knowledge too. Your style of play will be determined by the players that you have in your team. See there? Exactly.
Yeah.
Karim said, military, that's why you get coaches with similar way of play. It's similar, but you won't find the exact. Similar. No. Ghani said, the squad preparation for the squad championship league going. The CONCACAF Champions League.
Oh, well, it's we on Waterhouse. The game, the competition start March 13 to 25th. So it's really that's what we're building for. I mean, Waterhouse has ramped up their team. We're doing the same. Of course, we're still going to use our youth. Our young oldest player is 23. We're still going to be using a youthful aggregation, but we're going to go there. And one of the reasons military why I say we play like that is because we know that if you go into those leagues and give away the ball, you're in trouble. So we have to make sure we can keep position on the ball for long periods. I mean, we keep it for 69% and still lose.
Well, two teams, basically, Cavaliers and Mount Pleasant play quite similar. It's just that Cavaliers, I think, they're a little bit more advanced in their style of play in regards to the transitional base. I think that has to do with the experience that they have in the squad. The Isaacs, the Sole McCullough, these guys are quite experienced and so they kind of know when and how. As I said, maybe you need to teach your players the transitional fouling. but you don't want to brand yourself because
last year we used to foul a lot. This year we don't foul any at all. I'm saying okay.
I can imagine pick up so much red card. Imagine inside the transitional foul. But I do think so. When is the champions? The champions
is May 13 to the 25th. So we're on Waterhouse planning to go down to Dominica Republic. Is the top 3 teams go through? Is 6 teams in the competition. The top 3 go through to the CONCACAF playoff club championship, and the 4th team get to play off again to go to the championship. So once we get into the semi-final, we should be good.
Yeah, and I like that because that means we're looking forward to see some specific player. So we have to go now because remember you said your time span, and I have to respect your time span. So Mr. Speed, it was very much an our first interview with you was back in March last year. Actually, last year March was the first time we've done an interview. I think you were at the football field.
Yeah,
and then and then I came across the interview with Jaden White. So it was nice having you back onto the program. We'll definitely try and get you on to one of the preview shows for the JPL. I don't do much long live stream, not mostly do like the uploads. We'll discuss it. Maybe by then, Cavaliers probably a run back up in the top of the table. So it was very, very nice having you on, Mr. Speed, and lovely discussion. We have learned a lot, and you have passed on a lot of information. And anytime anything pop up again, I will definitely reach out to you and see how best we can work out something. So thanks, really appreciate you having on. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you again, and we'll keep in contact, Mr. Speed.
It was my pleasure. Keep safe.
All right, people. So I won't say any longer. It was very, very interesting having that discussion with Mr. Speed. Maybe I could just maybe say a little bit, maybe 10 more minutes, just to have a small discussion. I know Fabian is at work. But we have definitely learned a lot from that. I got I had some good questions, and I got some really good information in how we want to progress going forward. We spoke about the coach, the assistant coach, the first team coach of the under-20 team, Marcel Gill, and how we can look to progress with Marcel Gill going forward. What are the intentions of this particular campaign? We look at that. We also look at what will be the correlation with Marcel Gill and Coach Paul Hall and Mr. Speed already highlighted us that both of them will be working hands-on together in how we want to proceed going forward with what we want to do with the national setup and also the youth setup. We speak about the strategies of the in approaching the campaign. Karim said, did you get when the senior team are going to drop? I think it's this week. I think by the end of this week. I believe it's by the end of this week. Most of the players already announced. I got a few of the names already. And then you know there'll be some names out there already.
Should I
Ronald, log on. Rolando, you hear me?
Yeah, man. I enjoyed the interview. Very, very much. Very much.
It's been a while since I've done a long stream like this. It's been such a while.
I saw a lot of people still have questions because we need people like these.
Mm-hmm. You're on mute. You know, say on mute, right?
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I was saying, I see people asking questions, still have questions that they wanted to ask. So, it just shows you that they wanted more interviews like this, more interviews like this. That was very knowledgeable, very informative. And I especially liked what he mentioned about I think it's a Caribbean professional, something he mentioned about Jamaica and two other places being a hub.
Yeah, being a hub, yeah.
That sounds very interesting.
Barbados and Trinidad. Was Barbados?
No, I think it was Dominican Republic, I believe.
And Trinidad.
Right. That sounds very interesting. Very interesting.
So that means that we will be having a lot more of these nations looking on to Jamaican football because we'll be now having players from those nations playing inside of Jamaica. So they will be looking on that. So which means that we have a lot more eyes coming into Jamaican football, which is a good thing. So that's why it's intriguing and I said to a lot of people that the Jamaican Premier League will definitely one day just hit bam just like that. So unfortunately, it might not be now or even tomorrow, but it's in the near future.
Yes, 100% agree. 100% agree. I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I'm hearing as well. But what I was saying is that I think more interviews like that need to happen coming from people inside JFF. They need to connect with the fans more. And that is the reason why there's always this back and forth. There seems to be a lot of secrecy. We need to know what's going on.
That's true. And because we're in the dark, we don't know what is happening. We always speculating. So there's always room for speculations because we don't know what exactly is happening. But I do think that it's good that we have this type of discussion and we get to identify some of the issues and how we can actually get them sorted out going forward. And some of the questions that I asked in regard to the long-term plan, the importance of this campaign, and even when he mentioned what the team is going to do in regards to the under 20, and they're going to combine the under 20 and the senior team, let them play together and actually have that level of camaraderie and let the under 20 players know the level that is required of them. I do like that. I do like those things that they're putting in place. Jonathan Lewis said, who got called from the senior team? All right, let me search for the names. All right, so for the senior team so far, I only have the local contingency. Ronaldo Cephas of Arnett Garden. Then Thomas Waterhouse, Ramon Hole, Waterhouse, Ricardo Thomas, Waterhouse, Devante Campbell, Mount Pleasant, Daniel Green, Mount Pleasant, Amal Knight, Harborview, O'Shane Staple, Harborview, Trayvon Reed, Harborview. So these are the names that I have at hand so far. For the under 20, we have Gary Mills, Mount Pleasant, Jay Anderson, Tarek Zimenez, Gavin Barton, Harborview, and I think Romain Blake. I think he's a player from JC. I'm not sure which club he's playing for right now, but he's a central defensive midfielder. Talented young man. And, I do believe that the likes of Richard King will be seeing those guys as well. Giovanni said, BR, Dominica Republic is improving as good CONCACAF football nation. So that's promising. I do agree. All right. So, people, I have to go now because I have to go and prepare for my review show of the Jamaican Premier League, which is later. Hopefully, guys are doing good. I did enjoy the stream. Rolando, you have anything else you want to say before I cut?
No, man, that's all I wanted to say. I just very much enjoyed the show today.
All right. People, make sure you smash the like button, people, because throughout the stream, I never really asked you guys that. I didn't want to interrupt the stream. I believe that would be disrespectful to be interrupting the stream, speaking about likes and share. I just love the fact that you guys are here. So, like we're here on the closing stage, please hit the like button, people. And if you're here for the first time, I would advise you guys to also smash that subscribe button. So, until next time, people, it has been very much a good one. Military Guna TV, people. And we'll see you guys again. We are out.